Hi and welcome to PN Snapshot. I'm Ollie Terry.
And I'm Chaewon Moon.
And we are researchers at the Seoul-based think tank Peace Network. In the last episode we spoke prior to the summit between North Korea and Russia, and today we're going to look back upon the historic summit between Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin and discuss the results of that meeting and how it might affect the current situation.
After the summit, President Putin pointed out two important points. The first one is that North Korea demanded a security guarantee. North Korea should be provided security guarantees if there is to be progress in denuclearization, borrowing from Putin's words. It seems like many foreign media outlets misunderstood this as North Korea wants US to protect its regime from its own people, but it seems more reasonable to think that North Korea wants no aggression from the US. The second important point is that Putin mentioned the possibility of six-party talk. Six-party talk was used before in discussing similar issues in Northeast Asia, so it may well help this time at this stalled negotiation moment. It seems like North Korea, China, and Russia are supporting the idea. The positive side of this six-party talk is that it can bring a stronger agreement since major key players in Northeast Asia would be in it, and then it can bring a fresh change to the stalled negotiation. But the negative side of it would be it will take more time because it's very hard to bring six parties agreement.
So, by meeting Putin, Kim Jong-un is putting a lot of pressure on Trump to get back in the game and get back to the negotiating table. Kim Jong-un is showing Trump that North Korea have other powers to talk to have other countries to rely on, to have other countries to build relations with, to get security guarantees from, and to build economic ties with. And they are not only reliant on the US. As mentioned last week, North Korea perhaps is more willing and more comfortable getting closer to Moscow than it is to Washington. Moscow perhaps doesn't have the influence over Pyongyang that Beijing has had in the past, but nonetheless, Pyongyang views the Russians as perhaps one of the least hostile countries that they can work with. It also views the Russians as a neighbouring country, which can potentially invest in North Korea. It's also a nuclear state, and it's a nuclear state which is one of the UN Security Council's permanent members. So for North Korea, there's a lot to gain by getting close to Russia.
For now, Chairman Kim really needs to make a statement to his own people that North Korea is making some achievements with the international relations, especially with US. But since the negotiation has been at stalemate, it seems like North Korea wants to make or publicize this summit with Russia as a big deal domestically. And also, as addressed in Kim's New Year speech, North Korea needs to boost its economy, and Russia is reported to be interested in establishing a train line from Russia to North Korea and possibly to South Korea. But it seems like less of the relevant information was publicized or less discussed during the summit.
Okay, so let's talk about how the summit and the results of the summit have been received by the relevant countries. Starting with the US reaction. So National Security Advisor John Bolton said that US was very, very against the idea of restarting the six-party talks. And he said that their position was they're very, very much in favor of a kind of all-in-one big deal that gets everything all at once, and not the step-by-step approach which the North Koreans are in favor of. The South Korean reaction was fairly similar. The Unification Minister Kim Yeon-chol said the focus was on dialogue between the US and North Korea, getting that started again, and also continued inter-Korean talks, and not the six-party talks.
Overall, there is no major changes for current situation since Russia is not in a position to relieve or lift any of sanctions against North Korea. But North Korea clearly stated what they wanted from the negotiation, and also opening another option such as six-party talk or multilateral talk. It might rattle a negotiation table with US.
North Korea is clearly trying to establish relations with neighbours for a security boost, and is also looking for other i.e. non-US options for security guarantees, as well as trying to seek out some economic trading partners. It's also trying to potentially bring in other powers to help fight its cause, to denuclearize on its own terms, i.e. the step-by-step method. Calling for a return to the six-party talks is likely to garner a lot of support, and thus gives the impression that North Korea are the ones who are trying to be responsible and flexible, and the US are the ones who are being rigid and too insistent.
Okay, that's all for today, and please subscribe our channel.
And give us a like.